What if the car sitting in your driveway right now was engineered to fail? Not by accident, but because the company knew about the problems and sold it to you anyway. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on vehicles that have left thousands stranded, bankrupt, or worse. One of these has racked up so many recalls that owning it is basically a subscription service to your mechanic. And the last one on this list? It's been causing fires for over a decade, yet they're still putting the same defective engine in brand new cars rolling off the lot today. Let's start with a vehicle that promises adventure but delivers something entirely different. Number 10. Ford Bronco Sport. The Ford Bronco Sport looks rugged and ready for anything. The marketing shows it, conquering trails, splashing through mud, living that outdoor life. But here's what they don't show you. This isn't really a Bronco at all. It's a dressed-up Ford Escape wearing a costume, and underneath that tough exterior is a machine with a serious identity crisis. The complex all-wheel drive system that's supposed to handle any terrain, it fails regularly. The transmission that should shift smoothly? Owners report constant problems that make driving feel like a gamble every time they turn the key. But the real nightmare started between 2021 and 2023. Ford had to recall over 272,000 Bronco Sports because of a defect that sounds almost unbelievable. The 12-volt batteries were failing without warning, and when they went, they took everything with them. Hazard lights stopped working. The infotainment system went dark. And here's the terrifying part. The drive power itself could cut out. Imagine you're merging onto a highway, and suddenly your engine loses power. Because a battery decided to quit, Ford's response was to blame a supplier defect. As if that somehow makes it better when you're sitting on the side of the road waiting for a tow truck. For $30,000, you'd expect a vehicle that actually shows up when you need it. Instead, the Bronco Sport has earned a reputation for ghosting its owners at the worst possible moments. And speaking of engines that can't be trusted, there's another vehicle that made a change nobody asked for. Number 9. Nissan Rogue. Nissan thought they had a brilliant idea with the 2025 Rogue. For years, the Rogue used a dependable 2.5-liter engine that just worked. But Nissan decided to get ambitious. They swapped it out for a turbocharged 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engine with variable compression technology. On paper, it sounded innovative. Better fuel efficiency, modern engineering, all that good stuff. Reality had other plans. The new engine started showing problems almost immediately. Owners reported a knocking sound that shouldn't be there, sudden power loss that makes driving dangerous, and internal damage so catastrophic that engines were failing before hitting 50,000 miles. That's not even halfway through most car loans. The variable compression technology that was supposed to be the star feature became the main villain. Turbo lag made acceleration unpredictable. Questions about long-term durability turned into certainties about short-term failure. And if the engine somehow manages to survive, there's still the CVT transmission waiting to drain your bank account. These transmissions are notorious for failing, and when they do, repairs cost thousands. Oh, and just to add insult to injury, Nissan had to recall these Rogues for faulty rear-view camera displays. So even if your engine and transmission somehow beat the odds, you might not be able to see what's behind you. Nissan took a reliable vehicle and turned it into a rolling gamble. The old Rogue was boring but dependable. The new one is interesting in all the wrong ways. But what if you wanted that same experience with a luxury badge? Number 8. Infiniti QX50. The Infiniti QX50 is essentially a Nissan Rogue that went to finishing school. Same problematic turbocharged engine, same questionable CVT transmission, just wrapped in nicer leather and marked up by $14,000. It's like putting premium cologne on someone who hasn't showered. Sure, it smells better at first, but the underlying issues are still there. Infiniti owners quickly discovered they inherited every single one of the Rogue's problems, plus a few exclusive bonus headaches. The brake master cylinder fails without warning, pump seals leak like they're trying to set records. Brake pads wear out so fast you'd think they were made of butter. And for the truly unlucky, complete engine seizures have been reported. The transmission issues are relentless. Jerky shifts, delayed engagement, and premature wear plague these vehicles. The electrical system throws tantrums with glitches that mechanics struggle to diagnose. For $44,000, you could buy a Lexus NX that won't require a second mortgage just to keep running. Instead, QX50 owners find themselves at dealerships so often they're on a first-name basis with the service advisors, it's luxury packaging hiding a fundamentally flawed machine. The badge might say Infinity, but the repair bills say Mistake. Now let's talk about what happens when you take that concept to the absolute extreme. Number 7. Porsche Taycan. The Porsche Taycan costs $230,000. Read that again. Nearly $250,000 for an electric supercar that can rocket from 0 to 60 in just 2.6 seconds when it works. And that's a big if, because this technological marvel spends an alarming amount of time not working. The software crashes more often than a teenager's first laptop infotainment screens freeze mid-drive, leaving you staring at a blank display while you're trying to navigate. Range estimates jump around like they're making up numbers randomly, which means you never really know if you'll make it to your destination. The charging system overheats and refuses to charge, which is particularly fun when you're far from home. But here's where it gets genuinely scary. The Taycan has experienced brake malfunctions caused by software errors. Think about that for a second. You're in a car that can hit 60 miles per hour, faster than most people can blink, and the brakes might just decide to have a software moment. Even Porsche dealers, the people who are supposed to be experts on these cars, struggle with the complexity. They're often unprepared to diagnose and fix the problems, leaving owners waiting weeks for repairs on a car that costs more than most houses, and Porsche's warranty, 4 years or 50,000 miles. Meanwhile, Tesla and Lucid offer longer coverage, making Porsche look almost cheap with their support. At this price point, the Taycan should be flawless. Instead, it's a $230,000 lesson in how cutting-edge technology often means cutting-edge problems. Speaking of technology causing more problems than it solves, let's look at a hybrid that can't figure out what it wants to be. Number 6. Jeep Grand Cherokee 4 XE. The Jeep Grand Cherokee 4 XE promised the best of both worlds. Electric efficiency for daily driving, gas power for adventures, and that classic Jeep ruggedness wrapped around it all. But instead of getting the best of both worlds, owners got the worst. The electric range that Jeep advertises, expected to fall short by 20 to 30% in real-world driving. That quiet, smooth electric mode. It's nice until the vehicle needs to switch to the gas engine. And then you get a jolt that feels like someone rear-ended you at a stoplight. It's jarring, uncomfortable, and completely ruins the driving experience. But the real issues run deeper. Owners report unexpected power cuts that happen without warning. One moment you're driving normally. The next, your vehicle is struggling to maintain speed. Sudden stops have been reported, the kind that make your heart race and your passengers start questioning your vehicle choice. These problems led to multiple recalls for software bugs and batteries that overheat, because apparently the engineers couldn't figure out how to keep the batteries at a reasonable temperature. And when you look around the interior that supposedly justifies the $60,000 price tag, you'll find cheap plastics and imitation wood that wouldn't fool anyone. The Grand Cherokee 4 XE looks premium in photos, but feels budget in person. Add in depreciation that happens faster than the batteries drain, and frequent trips to the dealer for fixes, and you've got a hybrid that makes you wish you'd just bought a regular gas model. At least those are predictable in their mediocrity. But if you really want to experience hybrid disappointment, there's a minivan that takes it to another level. Number 5. Chrysler Pacifica. The Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid should be perfect for families. Quiet electric driving, seating for 7, fuel savings that add up over time. It's the eco-conscious family hauler that checks every box on paper. But Consumer Reports looked at the actual reliability data and basically said, run away. They ranked it as one of the least reliable vehicles you can buy, and owners quickly learned why. The hybrid system that should be the star feature becomes the biggest liability engine's stall suddenly, sometimes at highway speeds, which is absolutely terrifying when you've got kids in the back and you're surrounded by semi-trucks. The battery system fails regularly and has been the subject of numerous recalls. The ECVT transmission, which is supposed to smoothly blend electric and gas power, instead delivers jerky starts and hesitations that make passengers carsick. Then there's the electrical nightmare. Touchscreens freeze while you're driving, leaving you unable to adjust climate control or access navigation sensors glitch and throw random warnings. The dreaded service charging system message pops up for no apparent reason, sending owners into panic mode. Chrysler's recall history tells the real story. They've had to recall Pacificas for fire risks linked to faulty battery connections, because apparently batteries catching fire is just a quirk, software bugs that shut down the engine while you're actively driving. Which seems like something they should have caught before selling the vehicles and charging systems that overheat, turning your garage into a potential fire hazard. For families who just wanted a reliable way to haul kids to soccer practice, the Pacifica plug-in hybrid turned into a source of constant stress and expensive repairs. The regular gas Pacifica isn't perfect, but at least it doesn't have all these bonus electrical headaches. Now, let's cross the Atlantic and see what British engineering brings to the reliability disaster party. Number 4. Jaguar F-Pace. The Jaguar F-Pace looks absolutely stunning. That sleek design screams British elegance. The interior is genuinely luxurious, with materials and craftsmanship that feel special. The handling is sporty and engaging, making you feel like you're driving something truly premium. For the first few months, F-Pace owners feel like they made a brilliant choice. And then the cracks start showing, and those cracks turn into chasms. Under that beautiful hood sits either an Ingenium 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder or a supercharged V6, and both have earned reputations for catastrophic failures. The timing chain stretches over time, and when it fails, it causes engine damage so severe that the whole motor needs replacing. Owners report oil leaks that start small and escalate quickly. Coolant leaks that turn into something far worse, with coolant seeping into the engine block and causing damage that can't be repaired. Just replaced. One recurring nightmare involves coolant contamination that destroys the engine, leaving owners staring at repair bills exceeding $10,000. And that's if you can even get it to the shop, because the high-pressure fuel pumps fail too, stranding drivers wherever they happen to be when it gives up. The ZF-sourced transmission should be reliable since it's used across multiple brands. But in the F-Pace, it delivers rough shifts and delayed engagement that make you question if it's about to fail completely. The suspension wears out prematurely thanks to complex adaptive dampers that cost a fortune to replace. Here's the thing that makes it even worse. The F-Pace shares its platform with the Range Rover Evoque and Discovery Sport, two vehicles that are equally infamous for terrible reliability. That means Jaguar knowingly used a foundation with documented problems, added their own quality control issues, and shipped it with a premium price tag brittle plastic components break. Electrical systems fail. And the resale value. It depreciates 50% faster than competitors like the Porsche Macan or Audi Q5. The F-Pace looks like a smart luxury choice until you actually own one. Then it becomes a constant source of stress, surprise repair bills, and regret. British elegance wrapped around British reliability. Problems is still just problems with a nicer accent. But if you want British reliability issues with an even bigger price tag, there's always the flagship. Number 3, Range Rover. The Range Rover is the ultimate status symbol. When you pull up in one, people notice. The leather is impeccable, the technology is cutting edge, and that overall presence screams success. But here's what they don't tell you at the dealership. Owning a Range Rover is like entering into a financially abusive relationship with a vehicle. The air suspension system that glides over bumps and raises the body for off-road adventures? It starts failing as early as 30,000 miles. And when it fails, the SUV sags on its axles like a defeated animal, with repair bills ranging from $4,000 to $6,000. That's just for the suspension. The electrical issues are constant and mysterious. Oil leaks appear from places you didn't know could leak. The transmission shifts inconsistently, never quite feeling right. Over a 10-year ownership period, you can expect to spend approximately $18,737 on maintenance and repairs. That's $4,581 more than the industry average for luxury SUVs. And luxury SUVs are already expensive to maintain. But wait, there's more. You also have a 49% chance of needing a major repair. During that decade, nearly half of Range Rover owners will face a catastrophic failure that costs thousands to fix. And depreciation, a 3-year-old Range Rover retains just 35 to 40% of its value, while German rivals like the BMW X5 or Mercedes GLE hold on to 60%. That means you're losing tens of thousands of dollars just by owning it, before factoring in all those repair costs. The Range Rover starts at $109,625. And for that price, you get a vehicle that will nickel and dime you, then dollar and $100 you, then $1,000 you into submission. The financial implications are staggering when you add it all up. Range Rovers are for people who want to look rich, but they're ironically one of the best ways to stop being rich. Every trip to the dealer is a surprise bill. Every warning light is a moment of dread. It's the automotive equivalent of keeping up appearances while drowning in expenses. Sure, you look successful sitting in that leather seat, but your bank account tells a very different story. And if Range Rover reliability makes you nervous, wait until you see what Volkswagen did with their compact SUV. Number 2. Volkswagen Taos. The Volkswagen Taos marketed itself as a spunky, tech-savvy compact SUV with European flair sleek design, peppy 1.5-liter turbo engine, available all-wheel drive for weekend adventures. On paper, it sounded like a smart choice for someone wanting something different from the usual Honda or Toyota. But dig deeper, and the Taos reveals itself as a vehicle you should avoid at all costs. That 1.5-liter turbocharged engine has persistent reliability flaws that owners discovered quickly. Oil leaks spring up regularly. Coolant consumption problems leave engines running hot. Fuel injector failures cause rough running and overheating that can damage the engine permanently. In colder climates, the engine's active cylinder deactivation system, which is supposed to improve fuel efficiency, malfunctions constantly. It causes erratic performance and vibrations so severe they feel like engine misfires. Drivers report the car shaking and shuddering, wondering if it's about to fall apart underneath them. And some engines have experienced complete failure before reaching 50,000 miles, which means you're still making payments on a vehicle that needs a new engine. The optional all-wheel drive system introduces even more problems. Jerky acceleration that feels unrefined and almost violent. Delayed gear engagement that leaves you wondering if the transmission will actually go into gear. Premature wear that shows up far earlier than it should. The transmission feels unpredictable, like it has a mind of its own, and failures under 50,000 miles are common enough to be a pattern rather than bad luck. The electrical issues compound everything else. Touchscreens become unresponsive while you're driving, leaving you unable to control basic functions. Erroneous warning lights pop up constantly, training you to ignore warnings that might actually matter. Safety sensors malfunction, which defeats the entire purpose of having safety technology. The infotainment system reboots spontaneously, rendering navigation and media controls useless right when you need them most. And all of this is wrapped in thin cabin plastics, a noisy interior that sounds cheap, and a suspension that struggles with rough pavement. Volkswagen cut costs everywhere you look, yet still charged a premium price based on the brand name. The depreciation reflects the reality. The Taos loses approximately 45% of its value within 3 years, while competitors like the Honda HR-V or Toyota Corolla Cross retain 60% after the same period. The market has spoken, and it's saying the Taos isn't worth keeping. But as bad as all these vehicles are, there's one manufacturer that's been selling defective cars for over a decade, and shows no signs of stopping. Number 1. Hyundai and Kia models with 2-liter 4-cylinder engines. If you're shopping for a car right now, listen carefully. Avoid any Hyundai or Kia model equipped with a 2.0-liter or 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine. These engines have been causing absolute chaos since 2011, and they're still being installed in brand new cars like the 2024 Hyundai Kona, Elantra, Seltos, Soul, and Forte. Starting in 2011, Hyundai and Kia put these engines in millions of vehicles, but they were built with serious fundamental flaws. Owners immediately started reporting problems, engines burning through oil way too fast, requiring constant top-ups just to keep running. Loud ticking or knocking noises that sound like the engine is eating itself from the inside, and sudden breakdowns that leave people stranded without warning. The issues trace back to critical components inside the engine. Rod bearings wear out prematurely. Piston rings fail. Seals leak. All the parts that keep an engine running smoothly degrade far faster than they should. Near the end of 2023, Kia and Hyundai issued a massive recall affecting 3.3 million cars due to a serious fire hazard. The anti-lock brake systems were leaking brake fluid, and that fluid was causing electrical shorts. Too much electricity surging through circuits, creating sparks, igniting fires in the engine bay. And here's the terrifying part. These fires can start whether you're driving or the car is just sitting parked in your garage. Over 3,100 fires have been reported to federal regulators since 2010, vehicles completely engulfed in flames, garages destroyed. Some of these fires happened while families were sleeping inside their homes, with their Hyundai or Kia parked just feet away. Hyundai and Kia have known about these defects for years. They've recalled over 10 million vehicles globally since 2015. 10 million. That's not a small quality control issue. That's a systematic failure on a massive scale. But even after all these recalls, even after all the fires and engine failures and stranded owners, they're still selling new cars with updated versions of the same 2.0-liter engines. Industry experts have examined these updates and made it clear the fixes don't address the root problems. They're band-aids on bullet wounds. Owners are still left facing expensive repairs, safety risks, and vehicles that can literally catch fire without warning. Even if a deal on a Hyundai or Kia seems too good to pass up, even if the salesperson swears this model year is different, walk away. These engines have a documented history of catastrophic failure. And that history is still being written with every new vehicle they sell. So there you have it. 10 vehicles that range from disappointing to dangerous, from expensive mistakes to potential fire hazards. Some manufacturers know about these problems, but keep selling anyway, prioritizing profits over the people who trust them. These aren't just inconveniences like a squeaky door or a dim dashboard light. These are legitimate safety hazards and financial nightmares that can derail your entire budget. Before you buy any vehicle, research thoroughly. Check the recall history on the NHTSA website. Read owner forums, where real people share real problems. Look at reliability ratings from independent sources, not marketing materials. And remember, sometimes the best car deal is the one you walk away from your bank account, and your peace of mind will thank you.